Our next case study is CPU process scheduling. As part of the input, we are given n jobs. For each of them, we are also given start time and finish time. Start time, finish time, and so on for n of them. So this is a typical problem in the context of operating systems, wherein the processor is expected to schedule and process the job, and there are n jobs, and with start time is this and finish time is this. The natural objective is to maximize the number of jobs placed for schedule, which means we wish to complete maximum number of jobs with respect to a given time frame. So schedule maximum number of jobs. Most importantly, for all of them, you see that we are trying to minimize something or maximize something with respect to the parameter of interest. And most of these greedy algorithms, they make use of sorting as a black box. And sorting has got very interesting applications in the context of greedy algorithm design. And at least we have seen 3 different case studies where sorting is used as a black box. So what we will do is we are going to model this. Often, if the model is right, then problem is kind of straightforward. You can get to solution in a quick time. So for each of them, you are given start and finish time. So for example, say you have got J1, J2, J3, J4, J5. Let me say S1 and F1. Say it starts at 1 and finishes at 3. This starts at 1 and finishes at 6. This starts at 2 and then finishes at 4. And this starts at 3 and ends at 5. This starts at 7, ends at 10. Maybe one more. And this starts at 4, ends at 8. Something like this. Now we want to know, and out of 6 jobs, how many jobs can be scheduled, meaning it will run into completion without any, and at a given point in time, CPU can handle only one job. It cannot handle more than one. And naturally we cannot schedule all of them because suppose I place J1, then it starts at 1 and ends at 3. So during this time frame, you cannot place for example J2 because this also starts at 1, and you cannot place J3 because this starts at 2, but this one will run into completion only at 3 units of time. So you can only start placing jobs whose start time is later than this. So 3, 4, 7 and so on. And keeping this, and how many jobs you can place, and in particular can we maximize that number. So let's look at this model. So let the time units are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. So J1 starts at 1 and then ends at 3. So let me draw an interval. So when I say an interval from 1 to 3, which means that denotes J1 is from 1 to 3. Then J2 is 1 to 6, so which means it is something like this. Then it represents the interval of this. J2 is 2 to 4, so it starts at 2 and ends at this. So this is J3. Then J4 starts at 3 and ends at 5. So this is J4. J7 starts at 7 and ends at 10. And J6 starts at 4 and ends at 8. Now we have represented this problem over here. This I am calling it as model. So interval representation. And if we closely observe this, then kind of our problem is done. Suppose let me schedule this, a job which occupies maximum time duration of this time frame, say 1 to 10. And if you translate that into these parameters, this has got maximum finish time. Among all, if you see that, if you look at these two, this finishes late. And the duration of this is also maximum. So something like this I don't want. I don't want to schedule first, because the one that finishes late and starting at 1, the one that finishes late, if I do it, then I may not be able to schedule this, this and this. Suppose you schedule J2. If J2 is scheduled, then we cannot schedule J1, J3, J4. This cannot be scheduled. But in the same time frame, 1 to 6, in place of J2, you could have gone for J1, which is 1 to 3, and then 3 to 5, which is J4. So you could have processed 2 jobs, and whereas this one we perform only 1. So that shows that starting at this, we want to choose a job which finishes early, least finish time. So starting at this point, if you prefer a job whose finish time is least, that's my greedy choice. Greedy says you choose a job whose finish time is least. What does that mean? Then you are left with maximum time frame, and there is a scope for scheduling more jobs during that, because this has taken least time. When I say least finish time, and starting at 1, this has taken least time to complete the job, which means you are left with maximum time frame during which you can schedule maximum number of jobs. So what is our greedy? Our greedy strategy is this, and greedy with respect to finish time, and strategy is earliest finish time. So place a job Ji for scheduling if Ji takes least finish time. Then after that, what do? You give preference to the next job whose finish time is least, and again the third job whose finish time is least, and so on. Which means if you look at this, when we sort, this would be 1, this would be 2, this would be 3, and 4, 5, and 6. So we are arranging the finish time according to the earliest finish time. So which means in increasing order, and or if there are duplicates, non-decreasing order. So you see that this comes first, this comes second, and so on. But you cannot schedule all of them, because you may see that there may be overlap between this finish time and the start time of this. That's where you see that this model is powerful. So then greedy says choose least Fi and schedule Ji, and among non-overlapping intervals, choose the next least Fi and schedule its corresponding j. And you keep doing this, which means I will schedule this, then this is overlapping. This is overlapping with this. This is also overlapping with this. And overlapping meaning its start time is before 3. And this one, you see that its start time is before 3 and finish time is beyond 3. So which means it is stretching beyond this. So this you cannot place because its start time is overlapping with the duration of this. Now these three are non-overlapping. With respect to this, these three are overlapping. This one, start time and finish time are, same. That is okay. When I say overlapping, the start time should not be before the finish time of this job. Now, among this non-overlapping, and identify the job for which finish time is least. Now, with respect to this becomes overlapping because its start time is overlapping with this, or it starts before the finish time of this. Now, this is non-overlapping because its start time comes later, and this is the only job left, so you will have to schedule this. So that shows we schedule J1, J4 and J5. Fine. And it starts at 3 and ends at 5. It starts at 7, ends at 10. So we have scheduled maximum number. We were able to schedule 3 jobs for this. Fine. So for most of the problems, if you come up with a model like this, for example, a graph theory is one mathematical model. This kind of interval representation is another mathematical model. Once you bring that, you can bring terminologies like overlapping intervals, non-overlapping intervals and so on. With that, you can visualize the problem and get to the solution in quick time. But the underlying black box is sorting, and these are all for representation or visualization. But underlying thing is you sort the finish time and arrange them according to their earliest finish time, second least, and so on. And the moment you say you choose a job for which the finish time is least, then you cannot start any other job whose start time is before this finish time. Of course, you can start a job whose start time is same as this finish time, but you cannot start a job whose start time is well before this finish time. But how do you visualize that? For that, this model is quite powerful. And so which means once we schedule this, you cannot schedule this and this. Look for a job from the remaining for which the finish time is early, so that you are left with more time in the time frame, and intuitively you can schedule more jobs. And that's precisely what we have seen. Suppose the interval representation is like this. So you have a job which is taking say 1 to 10, and there are other little jobs. So it takes 1 to 2, then 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, 5 to 6. So something like this. And you see that if each job takes 1 unit of time, and they are such that start time of this is same as end time of this, start time of this is same as end time of this, then you can schedule maximum number of jobs. So in this case, you can schedule this. So you can schedule maximum number of jobs. But if it so happens that the jobs are such that this is say 1 to 7, this is J1, and all other jobs are something like this. Say their start time is overlapping with the finish time of this, which means we can only schedule this job and none of this can be scheduled. So in the worst case you can schedule only one job, and in the best case you can schedule something like say all n jobs. For example, if it is something like 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4 like that, then you can schedule all of them. This is a worst case scenario where we can schedule only one job, and best case you can schedule all of them. Fine. And now you can see, and in case I don't give my choice to finish time, if I give to say start time, suppose the greedy is with respect to start time. So greedy with respect to start time. If that is the case, do we get optimum? Okay, if greedy is with respect to start time, do we get optimum? So when we say greedy with respect to start time, it says give preference to the one whose start time is early. So earliest start time. Okay. So something like this. You have a job which is starting at 1 and finishing at say 6. So this is J1. Then there is a job that starts at 2 and ends at 3. There is a job that starts at 2 and ends at say this. Then something like this. Now earliest start time says you schedule this job. Correct? But that's not opt. Opt is actually this one, and this one. You can schedule 3 jobs, but the earliest start time strategy says among all this, earliest start time is this, you schedule this. So intuitively we think starting early is good, but the one that we start with may occupy maximum time in the time frame. Then we are left with little time frame for the other jobs to be scheduled, or we may see maximum number of non-overlapping intervals during this duration. That is what happened here, and you get to see that there are 3 jobs which are non-overlapping, and I could have scheduled all of them if I have not started with had I not started with J1. So that is the gap with this, so which means greedy strategy fail with respect to this. Greedy fails, and here is a counter example. So like this you experiment other strategies and see which one are working, and for something that works intuitively, one has to look for a concrete proof. One has to look for a proof of correctness which will say you give me any snapshot, any interval representation, the earliest finish time strategy works. And you come up with a different scheduling, and the number of jobs scheduled by my algorithm and opt will be same. Scheduling may be different, but the number of jobs scheduled by my algorithm and opt will be one and the same. For example, suppose you have something like this, okay, and so something like this. So there are 4 jobs, J1, J2, J3, J4. and our greedy algorithm following our greedy strategy will say you schedule J1 earliest this one, and after that again earliest one, say maybe J1 and J2, because for these two the time is same, or J1 J4, and opt may give you J1 J4, or opt may give you J3 J4. Opt need not follow earliest time. It may probably schedule J3, but still the number of jobs scheduled by optimum algorithm and my algorithm are one and the same. So opt strategy we don't know. What strategy opt does to get this number we don't know, but we only know the number. Our algorithm we have the control. We know this is our strategy, and optimum algorithm is an algorithm which is giving an optimum solution, but it is like a black box. We don't know what is the strategy followed by the optimum algorithm. And optimum algorithm may give a different solution, but the number given by opt and number given by our algorithm are one and the same.